Hey guys, and welcome to my new YouTube channel. My name is Syphon, and I will mostly be focusing on Splatoon content. Just a little background about me with Splatoon before we get into the actual video. I've been playing it ever since the first game came out. I got it for my birthday. I think the game came out in 2015, if I remember correctly, and I've been playing it ever since, and I have loved every single bit of the games, the story, etc. So, as my first video, I am going to be going over some Salmon Run myth busting and proving or disproving whether or not some of these myths are true or not. I came up with these myths myself to see if they were true for this video or not. In the future, if I ever get big enough, I will be asking questions like myths that you would like me to see busted, or whatever. If a Q&A ever happened, that would be on my Twitter at siphon_SPL. To start us off with our first myth, it says, damage values in Salmon Run games are the same as Turf War and Anarchy matches. As shown here, in a normal game, in a Turf War or in an Anarchy battle, the Tri-Slosher does 62 damage. But when we flip over to Salmon Run, we see that each slosh does 100 damage. This shows that, yes, the damage values are in fact changed to make some two-shot weapons, or two-shot attacks, one-shot attacks for a regular Salmonid. Next up, for our second myth, we have the egg throws do damage. Now, as seen here again, we can see that when you throw the egg, it does a solid 100 damage around you, which means that yes, it does do damage, obviously, unless this myth is confirmed. If you're ever in a tight spot and you have an egg on you, maybe throw your egg instead of a bomb. It saves less ink, as seen later in the video. For our third myth, it says, you can kill the Flipper Flopper without inking the ring or the zone that it paints down before attacking. Now, as seen here, we can see that it doesn't really look like it's doing any damage, but when it comes back up again, you can see that when I started attacking it, it does show a bit of damage. So while it looked like initially you couldn't kill it by just splatting it instead of inking the zone, you actually can, which is very good if you are up high on a ledge and the Flipper Flopper is going to attack down below you. You can just try to attack it. Of course, when you ink the zone, it does not kill it instantly, it does damage it, doesn't kill it, but it's still a good thing to know if you are ever in a very specific situation where you can kill it and it's harder for you to ink the turf. For our fourth myth, egg cannon kills bosses. Now, as seen here, when you throw an egg with the egg cannon, not normally with the egg cannon that you get when you're fighting the King Salmonids, they do kill bosses, which is a very good technique to try and get as much eggs as possible so you can quickly finish off the King Salmonid at the end, or at the tail end of the extra wave. So myth confirmed, yes, use the egg cannon to kill bosses. For the next myth, it says, salmon dummies are bosses. So what this means is, in the training room, there are the big, girthy, I guess would be the best word for it, salmon dummies, which you can ink just like in the normal training room. But some of them take more damage to kill than others, and the big ones specifically. So if you go close to it, you can actually see that they have stickers that represent each boss type. Or not all of them, but a lot of them. So the one on top shows the steelhead. It takes 300 damage, I think, to kill it, to kill the little bomb on its head. And on the other one, it shows the scraper and the snake-like one. I don't remember its name, but and that takes 400 shots to kill. So yes, those dummies each represent bosses. Some of the bosses aren't shown, or don't have dummies, but a few of them do, which gives a nice bit of extra oomph to your training. Next up, we have your gear abilities carry over. Or another way to think of it is your gear that you start normally with goes under your Salmon Run clothing. This is not true. As you can see, I have 3 mains of quick ink recovery, but when I go over to Salmon Run, it does not stay the same. It's very slow comparatively to the first clip, so Mythbusted, the Salmon Run clothing has their own stats, and nothing will change that. For the next myth, it says bombs cost more ink. Now, in Splatoon 2, the bombs in Salmon Run costed way more ink than they did in Turf War or ranked matches. But in Splatoon 3, that is not the case. Bombs cost the equal amount without any sub-saver in Turf War, and they cost the same in Salmon Run. So, bombs are much more useful now. And for the final myth, we have egg throws consume all possible ink. Now, you need the same amount of ink as you do as a bomb to be able to throw an egg. But it doesn't actually use up all of that ink, it only uses up about half of the ink tank. It's a bit weird because you still need around 3/4 or 2/3 of your ink tank to be able to throw it, but it doesn't actually cost that much, which is good for throwing eggs back to the egg crate. Thank you guys so much for watching. As I said, this is my first video and my first attempt at a real YouTube channel. I would really appreciate it if you gave me some feedback down in the comments, and like the video if you liked it, and subscribe if you want to see more, if you want to see whatever I have in store. Yeah, thanks again for watching, and we'll see you soon.